Well, moving on here in space, nobody can hear you call until now. If T-Mobile and SpaceX has their way, the company's teaming up in a bid to end cell coverage dead zones with a satellite T-Mobile service using Starlink's second-generation satellites. For more, let's bring in Yahoo Finance's Dan Howley. Dan, this is what I think a lot of people can relate to. We've all been in some of those dead zones where you just cannot get reception. Starlink getting a big bump now with this new partnership.
Yeah, this could start rolling out in the future. We're not sure yet. But as you said, this would be a second-generation version of the Starlink satellite. It'll have larger antennas. It'll be an array of satellites, by the way. So they would be launched and then into orbit, and then they would allow you to gain access to minimal connectivity. You're not going to be able to, FaceTime from Mount Everest or something like that. But you will be able to do things like place phone calls, send messages through basic text or some apps. And there is talk, if you're in an area where other people are not using the bandwidth, of doing minimal video. So maybe you can stream Keeping Up with the Kardashians if you're stranded at sea or something like that. But the idea here is to give people who otherwise wouldn't have access to connectivity some form of connectivity in the, as I said, as either phone calls or text, or in that very, very rare instance, video. And so there are areas throughout the world, even in the U.S., where you just can't get a connection because we rely on modern cell towers. Those cell towers can reach miles away, but there's only so much they can do when it comes to things like mountains and the ocean. So that's the idea here, is that it would be able to send down a signal from anywhere on Earth. You would be able to do it with modern phones. So that's really a big boon to T-Mobile if this does go according to plan, because their regular users would be able to just use their devices as is, and it would just beam down to their device. So, this is a very interesting prospect. There's no guarantee that it will work as advertised quite yet, because this would be the first time that we would see something like this on such a scale. But it does allow for people who otherwise would not be able to get service to get it without having to dole out the kind of money that they otherwise might need to set up their own private satellite.
Yeah, and we saw Elon Musk kind of tempering expectations on Twitter as well. In the tech space, Mark Zuckerberg joining the Joe Rogan podcast. This was a 3-hour interview, as I understand it. What's the key takeaway from the chat?
Yeah, my God, 3 hours. That was, a lot. And, interestingly, a tech CEO that did not go on there and referenced 420 in any way. But he wanted to talk about the metaverse, basically. And so it kicked off discussing the kind of technologies that they're going to offer. And basically, the main kind of news peg here is that they will launch a new headset in October. And so, we know about Meta's struggles in the advertising space. Obviously, advertising sales not doing well for them. There's a litany of factors for that are impacting other companies, as well as for them, especially Apple's app tracking technology, where they're, just not able to provide advertisers with the kind of insights that they would want. But really, this is about the metaverse. And, that's the big bet that they are making going forward, spending billions of dollars on this. And, he was on there essentially advertising Meta for the metaverse and explaining what he thinks the metaverse will be. And again, that takeaway for that new headset coming in October, we're not sure of pricing yet. But, this is just one of a series of headsets that Facebook, or Meta rather, will be rolling out in the coming months and years ahead.
A lot of expectations riding on that one, not just for users, but for Meta as well. Dan Howley, thanks so much for that.